joining me, guys. Virgo, this is your reading for March 2019. Now I'm going to just say to you before we go any further, the sort of scratchy noise in the background or the hissy noise, it's the cicadas clicking in the trees outside, and there's just no way that we can get rid of that noise in the video. I do understand that this makes it a little bit more difficult to hear me, so perhaps I suggest putting headphones on or turning the volume up as loud as you possibly can. We just have to accept that nature is in its true vibrancy at the moment. I actually love the cicadas, but we do live on a property where we're surrounded by really big trees, big oak trees predominantly, and there are just masses and masses of them ready to find a love partner in life. So that's what's going on outside the window. Lots of love. Anyhow, we're doing these readings around just after the time of Valentine's Day, so it is a perfect time to incorporate the energy of love in your life. And I'm not necessarily referring to just romantic love. There are all forms of different diverse love that we can experience either by giving or receiving in our life. So open yourself up to that during this reading. We will also pull in some angelic vibrational energy. I'm not sure who's going to come in. We'll see what shows up in the cards as we work through the reading. Using these 3 different decks that you see there in front of you, 4 cards from each. I have been doing a little bit of shuffling with intent beforehand, so let's start the shuffling now. And in fact, today I believe is the day of the full moon. So the full moon can have quite strong influences with us as well, can bring about change, can set new directions occurring, open up hidden truths and make us more aware, cosmically aware and intuitively aware as well. So with that, you guys, Virgo, let's see what is in store for your monthly reading for March 2019. A little bit more shuffling here. These are a full deck of tarot. They are by Doreen Virtue. They are a fairy elemental mix. A couple more for Virgo for March. Okay. Let's see what's in store for you guys. Your first card is the 9 of Cups, which is a lovely card to have. It's the card of wishes or dreams coming true, and that's exactly what it says there. So a wish comes true. A great start for you guys for your reading. Wow, and then the 8 of Wands, another lovely active card, and also a card of love. The cups, of course, resonate with emotions and love. So 2 cards there indicating that synergy or vibration of love. The third one is the 9 of Swords. So 2 9s in that one row. And that 9 of Swords has actually been quite active in this month of March's reading. I tend to think that because we're on the cusp of changing seasons for the planet from summer to autumn and from winter to spring, we can see quite turbulent weather events occurring, and sometimes this can manifest also in ways of turbulent emotional manifestation for us here as well. Your 4th card is the 5 of Pentacles. So that one is a little glitchy along with that one. You've got like a whole, totally up and happy and everything else, and then you've got a couple down here that suggest a little bit of the opposite. So your reading is up and down at the moment. Let's see what these cards are going to deliver. These are the Morgan Greer Tarot traditional deck. This is for Virgo for March. Temperance, your first major arcana card there. The 5 of Swords, so we have another 5, so you have 2 9s and 2 5s. The 10 of Cups, not dissimilar to the 9 of Cups that was your very first card. and the Ace of Rods, which is very nice as well to receive an ace. So one major arcana and one ace. And then we will use these last cards, which are Saints and Angels. So this is for Virgo. That wasn't a particularly good shuffle. One more, I think. Pause. That's a guardian angel. I will move the camera back a bit so you can see these clearly. Animals, St. Francis of Assisi. Practice makes perfect. And believe, St. Hildegard of Bingen. Beautiful golden orangey glow coming into the reading down in this part here. So I'm just, give me a moment here guys, I'm deciding whether to read across the rows or down the columns. And I said, as I said that, I saw this card here and it said pause. I'm being drawn to read across, but at the same time I think I'm missing something about going down the columns. So let's start with going across the rows and we'll see how the messages play out there for me. We'll start with the top row, which is the 9 of Cups, and it says, which is a beautiful card to start your reading with, this wishes come true, the 9 of Summer. And the card itself is really beautiful to look at. There's the two ladies there sort of getting themselves prepared for something adventurous or exciting or magical, I guess one could say. And the card itself says wishes come true, dreams are fulfilled, and a magical time of life. So as you can imagine, this is indeed one of the most loved cards, and when it comes out it seems to give this feeling of blessedness, this feeling of prosperity and of possibilities. I think there's another phrase, even though it is the wish card. I read this just recently actually, and it's not something that I have commonly said in the past, but I'm beginning to uplift it. It actually suggests you can make a wish. And because you see the stars in the background and just around the ladies and that big one in the background, which could literally be a guardian angel, and you have two guardian angels that have come in at the bottom of the reading, it sort of suggests to you that there is cosmic support or help around at this time, and that there may be fulfillment of dreams or aspirations. Sometimes this is the ability to manifest something that you have been desiring, or to see this manifestation start. So it is a really good time to literally make a wish upon a star. So keep that in mind, and I think it's a beautiful card for you guys to have received for the very first card of the reading. So there's not a lot more that needs to be said with it. It bodes generally quite good health, it bodes good feelings in the emotional spectrum, it bodes good opportunities and manifestation possibilities. So focus on what it is that you are particularly seeking to activate or to uplift or to surround yourself with in this month of March. We come to the card next to it, and it is the 8 of Wands traditionally. So I will show you the depictions on these pictures because I think they're really beautiful, and it's nice to be able to see them close up and to get a real glimpse into the background of the card. And in fact, I sometimes find that when we have them on the camera, we see even more than we would do normally if we were looking at them ourselves. I think that's a little cat in the bushes behind her. Well, it looks a bit like a cat, this here. It may just be me imagining that, but you've got a message about animals later on in the reading. Now the 8 of Wands, it says here, stress that comes from having many things happening at once, successful multitasking, and sudden events or changes. So this card is known traditionally as a fast mover, rapid things occurring, possibly many different events. It often insinuates travel by air, and this can be for business or career opportunities or the need to go away on business, or it can also be for holiday pursuits and pleasures. So it can be suggestive of, like, especially with the card next to it, the Nine of Summer or the Nine of Cups. And then this one, it could be suggestive of having a really happy time if you are planning a trip or going away somewhere, generally over water, not necessarily leaving a country, but sometimes to another area of a country or an actual overseas trip. It can also indicate and highlight new passion coming in, new romance, which it says here, sudden events or changes, quite often unexpected, and possibly even new friendships or new beginnings in your career sector as well. It is a card of creativity, which is often where we find our career and our passions and hobbies residing. So you feel this momentum of action in and around this area of your life. So as I say, two great cards to begin your reading with. We move back now to this. So we have 9, 8, 9. We're back in the nines. Now the nines are something to think about because they do indicate that we are coming toward the end of some sort of cycle. So like a pattern, or it's the ending of something that you have been working on possibly. It can be something that has been career related, or even a cyclical pattern in your life, like a health cycle that might be nearing an end. So it could be coming to a head, and it could be leading to a better health pattern. Or some of you might have been struggling along for some time, trying to find a way of moving it or shifting it or dealing with it, finding out what's going on in your life. Sometimes the nines mean that there is still hard work and to not give up. I think that's quite often the message. I haven't read exactly what she's saying there. But this Nine of Swords often refers to nighttime activity, and that's why the card is depicted as quite dark. If I tilt it forward, it appears to be even darker again. So this can sometimes be our minds overactive in the nighttime realm. And look, it's almost like I'm creating a shadow in the background of this poor girl's, the little fairy's room. And sometimes at night, you know, I don't know if any of you did, but I used to when I was young. I was always afraid of being alone at night, and I would imagine things like horrible things coming out of closets or shadows behind the bed and under the bed and things like that. And this is really emulating that. It's bringing it to life. It's adding another dimension to the reading. So if any of you have nightmares or you get that fearful feeling at night, this card is amplifying it for some reason for this month. And I don't know why, but the light is really just playing on it. The words down the bottom say unfounded fear, focusing on worst case scenarios, allowing worry to grow out of proportion to the problem. So it's about regaining control of these shadow thoughts and the shadow self and the fears that we project onto ourselves. It's about bringing back the light and removing the shadows. And the best way to do that is through calming down, taking some deep breaths, applying logic to the situation, and then adding some light. And once we do a lot of those things, these shadowy events or people or situations can be cast aside, and we can see more clearly with a little bit of added light. So sometimes your dreams can be also very meaningful at this time. You might find answers to problems that are occurring. You could have prophetic dreams. Sometimes this card also talks about connecting with our intuitive self and not being afraid of it either, you know, not being afraid of the shadow side of life and turning away from it and saying, oh, well, you know, I'm too scared, or it's a dark energy or synergy. If we just turn on the light a little bit and look into it from a different perspective, you will find answers about yourself and about situations around you without feeling the fear. So anxiety can also be brought about from lack of sleep, from overdoing things, too much on the go, also not knowing enough knowledge. So sometimes looking into things taking more time to do due diligence and being more cautious about projects that you uplift or people that you meet with as well at this time can be advisable. So that is the Nine of Swords. It's kind of like a warning card. It gives you a heads up for things that you possibly need to be taking, taken care of, or watching the patterns that are coming. This Five of Pentacles, which in this picture, I haven't actually seen this card come out before. This deck I have had for a little while, although I haven't used it a great deal, so it's still relatively new energies. Traditionally it shows a very similar picture of a lady and a man sort of outside a building, which I think traditionally was a church, with them feeling a little bit dejected and down. Now this can sometimes indicate feeling unwell physically, so things such as a flu or a virus popping up. Sometimes even it can refer to falling over and hurting yourself, especially around the legs or the ankles. Her message is reach out to others for assistance, poor timing for a career change, and feeling challenged by money issues. So her words are quite succinct, and that is exactly the overall meaning of the card. But the number 5 is traditionally known as a short-lived energy because it sits in the middle of everywhere. So it's a very short time when everything is in that balance of the number 5. It swings either way quite quickly. So if this feeling does come up, it should be relatively short-lived. Again, I think it pays dividends to be proficient about which direction you are headed, do some due diligence, especially in terms of investing money or making career changes. Think twice about it. Look into why you are thinking of leaving. Is it yourself because you feel unhappy, or is it that you feel the job is not worthy? There may be ways of resolving it without actually leaving. This card can also signify the end of a relationship, and sometimes the woman saying goodbye and it's time to move on. This could refer to romantic relationships, but it could also refer to things such as a mother and child. You know, the mum saying, oh, it's time to move on, or she's farewelling a child for an overseas adventure, or moving into a new home, or going afield for education or scholarships, something along those lines as well. So there often is a little bit of sadness with this card, tinged with a little bit of lack. It's a card where there can sometimes be a lack. But again, as I say, it's not necessarily a long time. So that's kind of like that first row. And if we're talking about timing sequences, I guess you could say that might be the beginning of March, then we're moving through to the middle and then towards the end. But I do feel there's a lot of freedom of movement in this particular structure of reading, so these things could be occurring at any point in time. We come to this next part and we see the word temperance here on this card, the major arcana. And temperance has kind of been delivered to you through the 9 of winter and the 5 of autumn. Both of those cards suggest the need for a little bit of balance, both emotional, intellectual and physical. And temperance does the same thing again. She or he is a bit of an androgynous angel, so we did get some angels coming in with this one here and 2 down here. And I said it feels to me as though you have celestial help, and we saw that with the big star and the 9 of summer. So the calling in of the angelic vibrational essences has worked quite well for you guys. It is there to help protect you for any situations that might come up in March where you either feel unsure of a decision to make or a direction to go. So don't hesitate to call upon angelic assistance or cosmic assistance. You must ask for it though, and a lot of people forget to ask. They just assume, oh, well, you know, I'll pick offer B and I know someone will be looking after me on this journey. That's not quite how it works. You need to, you need to actually verbally, whether it's in your mind or out loud or in a whisper, you need to connect with your cosmic helpers to ask for them to be with you on a journey, or to help you decide which offer to take, or which road to walk down, or which thing to avoid. So temperance could be also Archangel Michael coming in to assist as well, because I've sometimes felt that energy with the card. We see 1 foot on the bank and 1 foot in the water. So bodies of water might be relevant for some of you, and this could indicate a little bit of travel. It also talks to us about our diet. So there's a message in here for you guys about taking on enough water to make sure that it's keeping your body balanced, and also it's a great way of detoxifying and getting rid of any toxins, chemical toxins or food toxins or alcohol or drugs, things like that. It's also a great way of adding flow to the body, because we are 90% water as humans anyhow. So by keeping that water level up, we're continuously refueling the ions throughout our body, which helps us to become more creative and manifest more. So we come to this next card, which is the 5 of Swords, and that's our second 5. And although they're not connected diagonally, because there's 2 of those numbers in, they have some sort of, more of a punch going on in them. And that 5 sits right next to the Temperance, which talks again about balance. So I think for you guys, there is a lot of balance in the month. And I know of all people, Virgo, you are the most easy to balance life. You often sit within the middle of the paradigms. You don't tend to get, wildly out of control in one way and, really down in another. You are known as quite a stable, energetic field, so that you're being asked to call upon this predisposition that you already have to deal with situations within the month. This 5 of Swords is very much about, this is you usually, and these are 2 other people here that are kind of giving up and prepared to walk away. Now this can quite often come about through a conversation or words or documents or emails or letters or something along those lines, whereby you are trying to be heard and you are trying to get something said, and the other people, quite frankly, they just go, oh, I'm out of here, I've had enough, this is not what I'm wanting, so goodbye. So again, this card is like a warning card to think twice before you lunge into any great, rhetorical spiel. It's about thinking twice and picking positive phrases or ways to deal with situations, especially people. Now this can be at work, or it can be in your closer friendship circle, or within a family or a community. So yes, you might win, and yes, you might get your point across, but at what cost? This card, when it turns up, even though I've said before, 5s are a temporary situation, think of it as this way. It's a temporary argument that leads to a permanent loss of those people. I have seen when this card comes out that those people who are walking away in the background do not come back. That's it. They're gone forever. Zilch, zada, zing, bing, bang, they're gone. So do think about it. It is a warning card, and it gives you the opportunity to say what you feel in the right way. And so we pop on to the next card, and we see that beautiful 10 of Cups, not dissimilar to the lovely 9 of Summer, because they're the same type, they're the same cards, they're the same cups energy. I'll get it out eventually. The 10 of Cups again is like the wishes have been fulfilled. There's harmony, there's love, there's possible romance. We can see there's a little bit of romance in this reading for you guys. Some of you may have even considered leaving a romance behind to pick up a new one. For others of you, there is either a re-enhancement of a current relationship that you're in, or like a strengthening of the bond and an appreciation of that bond. The 10 of Cups also honours partnerships, as in 2 people. So sometimes this can be not necessarily just romantic, but it can be the partnership of people within a business, or within a community establishment, or within a project that is being done and formed and structured as well. The 10s are about coming to the completion, so they're that step further than the 9. So generally they're telling us that you are further along slightly on this project that you've been looking at or following, and that it is, like hands up, yippee, yay, I feel complete, I'm ready to move on to the next thing with feeling success and like I've gained knowledge, I've gained understanding, I have things to offer people too. And that takes you to that Ace of Rods, which is that fourth card there. And that again is a magical card. So you see, I said it in the first row when we were dealing the cards, that you had these two like really up cards and then two quite down. And then in the next row we had two that are cautious over here and two that are really up over here again. So it's still going on for you, this up-down feeling throughout the reading. And I think you will experience this in March. You might have moments of euphoria and bliss, actually, because of the cards that have turned up. And then you might have moments of doubt and feeling insignificant, or feeling like a difficult decision is having to be made, or feeling fearful about something. But coming back to this Ace of Rods here, it really is a great opportunity. It's a very creative card that's being delivered to you about new potentials, new opportunities, excitement, ideas flowing into the mind. Sometimes this can be around your career sector, and it might be indicating that there is an offer coming in. So either a job improvement or enhancement, or a new creative resource being given to you. The opportunity for you to apply these ideas that you may have been forming for a while and have someone listen to them. So this could include things like getting something published or printed, or going live somewhere, or becoming more noted or appreciated, or receiving accolade for something along these lines as well. So again, that line is, to me, it is more powerful than not, because we have Temperance in there as well, which is an overall guardianship, you know, from the cosmic energies. And the only card in there, which is the Five of Swords, isn't really negative. It's telling you to be cautious, that's all. You can change the energy of that Five of Swords by your own actions that you decide to take. So again, it's a positive row. We come down here and we see pause with this guardian angel. And, you know, this is another kind of card about balance. When we pause things in life, we have the moment in time to consider, is it the right direction? Is it the right action to be taking? And this time this pause is diagonally connected to that Five of Swords. And I have said to you it was very important about choosing the right way to move forward and the right way to say things to get your ideas across. So I think the pause is very similar to the Temperance and the message of that Five of Swords. So you've got like a triangular energy formation within the reading, giving it more importance. So asking you to listen intently to the message that is coming through with that. And that's a plane going overhead for those of you that might be travelling. So I was just going to look into the pause card and see what else it was going to say there for you. Yeah, your guardian angel asks you to pause for a moment before moving forward. During this break, take time to consider your true thoughts and feelings about the situation. You've been moving so fast lately that you may have confused other people's wishes with your own. Take time out and really be honest with yourself. What do you want? What do you think is the right thing to do? You will want to feel good before moving forward, so ask any questions and clear issues before taking further action. You may decide to wait or cancel a project. If this is the case, you'll know why you did so after you take the time to pause and consider your options. This is a message to be true to yourself and cosmic energies. Don't allow yourself to be swayed by others' judgments that may run contrary to your own. Once you become clear about your true reasons and motivations, your actions will be fueled by truth, love and commitment. These winning ingredients spell sure success for any project. So it was quite nice to read those words through, because you've got success in that ace, you've got success in the Nine of Summer, success in the Eight of Spring, success in the Ten of Cups. And there's another card that's telling you if you handle things the right way, remove that doubt and fear and anxiety of the Nine of Swords, behave well when that Five of Swords is out, and add a bit of pause and intellect down here, and all of those are on a direct diagonal connection line up through there, giving you that message, you'll find that something will turn out better than you expected, or will go with a great flow. We come next to the animals, St. Francis of Assisi, and I said I wondered if I'd seen a cat in that top card up there. So animals might be on your mind right now. You may have an issue with some of your own pets at home, so some of them might need extra care and attention. Some of you may be considering getting a new pet in your life, which would be a lovely, gift in many ways to both yourself and the pet. It also talks about having a strong bond with animals as they instinctively love and trust you. They can sense your compassion and understanding and come to you for help and companionship. In some ways, some of you may feel more comfortable with animals than people, and you could excel in jobs that relate to animals. So anything to do with pet sitting, walking or grooming, or working with veterinarians or animal communication. This is lovely. Your pets who have passed away also send you their love, and they want you to know that they're happy and doing well. So, that's a beautiful message for those of you who have recently lost a pet and are still struggling with the grief of that. That, like everything else, as humans we can only see one vision or one dynamic or one dimension, but there are many other energetic vibrational fields around, and we know that because of things like microwaves, radio waves. We can pick up telephone waves. There's a whole heap of different magnetic vibrations as well. We can't see those, but they exist. Well, the same thing is with the spiritual world. There are many different energies of residing in a life form or an energetic body form, and they've just passed from the physical form into a non-physical form, but their souls are still there, and often our animals still stay by us and close to us. So also this is a time with this card to be close to Earth and respect Earth and the environment as well. So some of you may feel particularly called to do something or be around that type of energy, outdoors, Gaia's energy, Earth, and environmentalist not activists, but activities as well. So then we come to practice makes perfect, and I think that practice makes perfect is just a general message to all of the little things that have popped up in the reading, especially talking about that 9 of Swords up the top and pausing and bringing balance into your daily decisions. The practice is initiating that type of thought again as well. It is also suggesting to you that if you do have projects that you are working on, such as this new one up here with the Ace of Rods, that practicing with it and just putting in a little more effort, going a bit further in distance, seeking a little bit more knowledge, perfecting it, will take your craft or your idea or your project to the next level, which is where I believe some of you will find that it will be either published or printed or accepted or awarded or accredited or something along those lines. So do make sure that you continue to practice and perfect it. And the last card for the reading, which I think is a beautiful card anyhow, is Believe, St. Hildegard of Bingen. And there's a wonderful movie that I often love to watch around Christmas time, and it's The Polar Express. So the Polar Express it's a beautiful movie because Tom Hanks is sort of the main character and the narrator, if you like. Actually, I think he plays a couple of characters in the movie. It's worth watching. It really is about the word believe, and yes, it's about a child at Christmas time losing the faith or belief in Saint Nicholas or Father Christmas. But when we were young and did believe, for those of you who were brought up with the tradition of Father Christmas and Christmas presents, you totally believed that it was real and that it existed. So going back to that state of believing that things can happen and do happen and that you have faith, because believe and faith are very similar. allows magic to come into your life. And when you have magic and belief and faith, you can manifest so much more. So again, it's like the 9 of summer, the 8 of spring, the 10 of cups, and believe at the very end. Just reaffirming to you, believe in your ability to manifest, believe in your ideas, believe in your creativity, believe that if you practice, you can perfect whatever it is that you're after. Believe that you have a love of animals and a compassion with them and an association and a relationship with them. Believe that if you pause, it will make a better decision. Believe that if you deal with anxiety, you can overcome it and work through it. So it's a powerful card to end a very beautiful reading on, and I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been a long reading, but I think there were many messages in here that wanted to just be heard. Hey, thank you for joining me all. I love that you leave your comments. Please sub the channel and hit the notification bell so that you receive all videos that are uploaded. And check your moon and rising signs as well, because there could be some interesting messages there for you too. I wish you all a wonderful, very magical March ahead with lots of practice and belief. Take care everyone. Much love. Namaste.